it's a pretty fun racetrack, you know. It's you know, it's going to continue to gain its character back. This was a great place to race in the early 2000s. The repave, you know, changed the track quite a bit, but I'm sure some drivers loved it then. I mean, I not to say that it changed it for the worse, but as they say, you know, track ages, in my opinion, it just gets better and better as the grip goes away and handling becomes more and more important. So still, it's a very fun track, challenging track, even though it's a super speedway and we kind of run wide open. When the handling becomes an issue, you can't run wide open, and you have your hands full, and I appreciate and admire that about the track. And you know, it's they did a great job on the remodel, the grandstands that we have that allows accessibility for the fans to come up to the windows, and it's just it's got the fan zone, which is a great place for fans to enjoy themselves and hang out. It's just it's just a great facility that I think we as a sport can brag about and be proud of, and a lot of great history here.
We'll go to Holly, Jenna, and then Dinah.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. I guess this is $1 million question, but why do you think you have been so good on this track? What is it in particular that has made you so good here and in this type of racing?
I know it's not a lot of fun to write, but it's the cars. We have had some really good cars here. When I get the car that I need, or when I've had the cars that I've had that were so good here, you can just do whatever you want to do. And if you know a little bit about what you're doing, you know, you can make some things happen and control the race. And I say that because I've had some races here where I didn't have a car that I felt like I needed, me personally. And I know that without that kind of a race car, I don't have it, I don't feel confident in getting the job done. And so the car has always been real critical. When we had our string of runs at DEI from 01 to 04, we couldn't be down here or Talladega in the Xfinity or the Cup level, and those are some really amazing cars and just really smart people. From not only, we had kind of the whole thing, we had the guys that knew how to create the bodies the way they needed to be, and we also had some great motors with Gilmore and those guys working on those engines. We just had a really awesome, perfect situation for a while there for the plate stuff. And I knew Hendrick had the same kind of strength, having raced against them. So when I got in those cars, no surprise to me, we ended up coming up here with some pretty fast stuff. Probably should have won more races than we did. But it starts with the car. You go out there and practice, and it either surprises you. I had my car yesterday do a couple things that I thought, wow, this is all right. And sometimes you go out there and practice that first practice, and you're a little underwhelmed, but and then you're kind of concerned and you work on it and hopefully you improve, but sometimes you don't. And you take a car like that into the race, and it's just hard to be confident in making choices and making moves and being on the offense and doing stuff all the time. When your car is really strong, you'll try any run you get, because you know that if it doesn't work, it's not going to be, you're not going to fall back too far, or it's not going to, there's not a whole lot of risk to trying whatever you want to try. And so the cars are a big part of it.
So you're deferring all the magic to the car, because a lot of people think you as a driver.
I think there's a lot of smart plate racers out there, and Denny's awesome. Logano runs great at these tracks. Keselowski's figured it out. I think I know what I'm doing out there, and but I don't know how you rate one guy versus the next, because we're all in kind of different cars every time we come back here. Sometimes Denny gets the job done and whoops us, and sometimes we get the job done, and sometimes it's somebody else. But I mean, I watched Dad. I didn't know what I was seeing when I was watching him, but once I got out on the track and I started doing things with my car, I realized what I was seeing all those years and why things were happening the way they were. And I, started to understand why. I'm like, why, how does a side draft feel if you've never been out there? Why do they do that? And why do they, side draft and swing away? And why is that happening? You don't know that till you get out there in the car. And once you get out there in the car and you just do it enough. I always try to get in practice and be aggressive. When young guys ask me about drafting, I say, go out and practice and learn everything you can. A lot of guys go out and practice, and we don't practice as much pack racing as much as we used to. But back in the day, we'd be 20, 25 cars out in the draft. I was out there like it was a race, and I was trying to put my car in every position I could to learn whatever I could about its ability and whether we needed to work on something. We don't get to do that as much anymore, but that's what I tell guys when they ask me about advice, is to go out there and practice and learn everything you can, be aggressive in practice. You can't really wait around the race to try to learn everything you need to learn.
Jennifer, I apologize, I have two questions. The first one is, as you are going through this second half of the season and you have to come in here each week, is there any fear that the reflectiveness or the nostalgia or being asked or favorite memories and things like that is going to wear on you or amplify any anxiety about the end coming year?
I'm not really having any anxiety about the end coming year. I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty good about my decision. I haven't had any second guesses or regrets about that. So I don't believe that I'll have any anxiety as it starts to get closer to Homestead. I just don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss a moment that I should take in. I don't want to miss opportunity to let people know how much they mean to me, and everybody in the industry means to me. Even you guys. I mean, we've had a great relationship, and I'm friends with quite a few of you in here. And not that I'm never going to show up again or never going to be around again, but as far as my driving career goes, I just want to make sure that I have the opportunity or take the opportunity every chance I get to thank people for making this so much fun. So there's a little bit of anxiety there, that am I doing that? I'm also trying to race, trying to win, trying to get in the chase, and trying to fulfill all the responsibilities with Greg and being accountable and available to him. And there's still a lot of work going on, and so it's kind of hard sometimes to balance between saying farewell and then also getting the job done, the best job you can for this season.
The second question is, it's Days of Thunder came out 25 years ago this week. What are your memories? What are your thoughts of that movie?
I remember one thing that pops into mind is they brought, now this is all hearsay because nobody was in the room but Dad and I guess the director, producer, and Cruise. But Tom Cruise comes over to the deer head shop. I think the DI wasn't built in yet, but so we're excited. We're going to meet Tom Cruise. Me and Kelly are there, we're giddy. And he comes in, he's a bit shorter than I thought he'd be. And he's had pimples all over his face. So I remember that. They go into Dad's office and they come out a few 30 minutes later. And so I guess they picking Dad's brain. But the rumor was that they offered Dad the role of Rowdy Burns. I don't know if that was really true or not, but that was kind of the rumor. But Dad turned it down because he didn't want to play the bad guy. Just a rumor, but I don't know if it's true or not. But
You never asked him?
Huh?
You never asked him?
I must have. I was so young. I don't know that. You hear the rumor later, and I never did get a chance to really figure out whether it was true or not, but hard to believe if it's true. But and I thought the movie was fun, great. I was a big Robert Duvall fan because I loved the miniseries Lonesome Dove when it came out, and I just, he's just great in everything. So I liked I liked him being in it and thought he did an awesome job. And I thought it was a fun movie.
We'll go to Dinah, Claire, and then Bob.
Dinah Pulver with the Daytona News Journal. Dale, you've obviously spent a lot of time over the years in Daytona. What are some of your favorite childhood memories at the track or off the track here in Daytona?
Off the track would have been, there was a scoring stand down in turn one. That's where all the wives and children went for the race. So you go down there into that scoring stand and watch the race, and then be, everybody's kids being there. So we was all playing around and goofing off. That was pretty fun. And then back in those days, all the drivers, crews, and everybody stayed in the hotels on the beach. So we was in the pool all week. I remember falling off a high dive one time, and I think I killed myself. But just being around in those hotels and seeing everybody, you'd have drivers in the pool after practice, and that was cool, for those guys to be able to do that. And it seemed like it was just us there, just the families. But it's changed quite a bit now. It ain't nothing like that anymore. But that was pretty cool. Everybody kind of hanging around the beach when they weren't at the racetrack.
We'll go to Claire, Bob, and then Ben.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Your fans are following you through this journey, and they'd love for you to stay. So anytime you say something like you might be back at Daytona one day, everybody kind of grabs onto that hope. Is that something you're just leaving the door open just in case, or is that something that you really are seriously thinking you would do? Kind of put it in perspective, and you might not even really know.
Yeah, I don't really know. I just definitely want to leave the door open to any opportunity. Somebody may need me to come in and help. I mean, I've seen, Tony's needed some help, and guys have come out of retirement to help, and Jeff did that for us last year. I wouldn't be opposed to helping somebody if they need some help. And I know, I feel like, I'm done full time and feel comfortable about that choice, but I'm gonna run, roughly 2 to 6 Xfinity races for I don't know how many years, to try to continue to grow junior motorsports and keep it healthy. And those are will that be enough to keep me happy? I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think that there'll be opportunities for me in good cars to really want to come out and do it. And I don't even know what that looks like. I definitely won't be at Daytona next year. I'll probably come out here and watch the race, but I won't be driving in it. And we'll just kind of see how it goes after that. I don't really know. I wouldn't be opposed to helping someone, though, for sure.
We'll go to Bob, Ben, and then Chris.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. You haven't been all that emotional about things since the announcement, but here at Daytona, have you felt any additional emotions, and possibly is leaving the door open a defense mechanism from feeling those emotions?
I don't know. That's funny. I haven't felt any emotions. I didn't see any from Steve either when he was winding his deal down till Homestead. He fell out on me on pit road. But I'm thinking it's kind of going to be like that. It's some, this whole thing, this decision to retire has been, it wasn't a spur of the moment. It was sort of building inside me because of the things that we've been through over the years. And what I mean by saying that is that I'm quite comfortable with it, maybe more than anyone else, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think about, I got emotional last night watching that race on NBC, but I do every time I watch it. I think about the Uris and my Uncle Danny, and I watched that video, that celebration in the infield there, and I can't even remember, I wish I would have, I know I looked like I was let to sink in, but I really You know, you can't go back and do that over again. But there was a lot of people there that, they brought up a lot of memories. That was a great team. So when I see those kind of highlights or something like that, it kind of brings some emotion around. Being at the track or getting in the car or hearing the national anthem or coming to Daytona for this last race, nothing really didn't bother me too much.
We'll go to Ben and then Chris and Jerry.
Dale, Ben White, Lexington Dispatch. You and I have talked a lot over the years about NASCAR history, and my question to you is, how important were the guys like the Joe Frissons and the J.D. McDuffies and the independent type guys? What do you, and because you're a big history buff like I am, what do you think that they brought to the sport?
He says he's not going to pull over for you so that you can get by him. What is your perfect scenario for the ending of the race from coming down to the wire?
Yeah, if I'm behind the 88, I'm probably going to let him win. Hell yeah. I'm a little different than the other drivers. I won't pass him.
We're up with Zach in the back.
Hey, Dale back here. Zach Dean from the News Journal. You mentioned watching the throwback last night and how you always get emotional watching those type of races from the past. Assuming that this is your last race here, if you had to look back, you've won 17 races. If you could pick out 3 that stick out to you the most, can you do that?
Yeah, it's on that painting. Winning the race in that Wrangler car was awesome. Shocked me. I really don't know if I've ever felt any pressure like I felt that night. And I didn't realize it was going to be pressure till I got there and got in the race. I'm like, oh man, I got to win this thing because this car, this whole promotion, this is my favorite paint scheme that I've ever ran, that my dad ever ran. And man, the pressure was on. And so I was really relieved that we won. And the 2014 win was a big deal. We really needed a shot in the arm like that for ourselves and the team and my career. So in 04, I mean, that was a special moment too. The 01 race, I think, really is hard. It's probably my favorite, to be honest with you, because of the circumstances. It's not the bigger race. It's not the Daytona 500, but because of the circumstances, that one's pretty important.
All right, Dale, thanks for joining us. Good luck this
Thank you.
weekend.
All right, guys.